Hello, wizards, witches, and everyone in between. My name is Emma, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. I have not filmed in a very, very long time because I have not felt like it. It at first was because I was very busy with work and studying and all that kind of stuff, but all of that has been put on a hold since this pandemic. Thankfully, I'm off of work, but they are still paying me and I don't have to work from home. And since there's no students at school, there's not much for me to do. So I am basically getting paid time off. And my friend and I rescheduled our teaching credential exams for later because of the pandemic, because centers were closing and all that kind of stuff. So I went from being very, very busy to being very, very free. I have been reorganizing parts of my apartment, found color depositing shampoo under my sink, and so just now in the shower, I dyed the ends of my hair pink because why not? So if you are not interested in an update about how I'm dealing with self-quarantine, lockdown, like all of the pandemic stuff, if you're tired of hearing about that, that's completely fine. But part of these vlogs are like for me to look back on as well, so I did kind of want to just give you guys an update about how I'm doing with it. But like I said, if you're tired of hearing about it, which is valid, I will put a timestamp up here of where you can skip forward to me talking about books. So a couple days ago, the governor of California kind of put us on a lockdown where only essential businesses are open and you can really only go out in public for essential reasons. So basically, you know, you can't just go to a coffee shop just to sit there and hang out. A lot of restaurants are takeout only, the movie theaters are closed, clubs are closed, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where California is at right now. We are growing in number every day of, you know, people with coronavirus, but it is difficult because we aren't able to test people, especially in the county that I live in. We had no confirmed cases for a while, longer than I thought we would, based on the fact that our surrounding counties had confirmed cases, and that is because we did not have any test kits. So, you know, I think in general, a lot of cases are probably unconfirmed because people have difficulty getting tested, and, you know, we're just all supposed to stay inside. My husband's hours are getting cut back at work because he works in the food industry, and, you know, small businesses are suffering right now. So that's been tough, but other than that, it's been good. My heart goes out to anyone who has like permanently been laid off or, you know, is struggling or has corona or has someone who has it or is isolated away from family or, you know, alone in an apartment or anything like that. There's so many bad situations happening out in the world right now, and I just, you know, I want to basically just say that I'm fine, I'm doing okay. Like I said, my heart goes out to everyone who is not. As far as my mental health, it's getting a little bit better. Thursday was my last day, Thursday of last week, and so Friday was weird because I didn't have to go to work, and for a couple days I felt very like kind of cabin fevery, even when I went out for walks. I've been going out for 45-minute walks every day, but even so, I just felt like, you know, this whole pandemic, I can only control so much. I can only control me staying home, and so, you know, that's where my anxiety breeds from and stems from, is me feeling not in control of things. And so that's been really hard. It's just been really tough. I've been going, about my day, trying to keep busy. We found a video game, my husband and I, called The Forest, which we are obsessing over. So that's been really nice. But I need to keep my mind really busy, or else I do start focusing on bad things or just catastrophizing. And, the whole world is kind of doing that right now. And, I always want to self-isolate every day when my anxiety is bad. So in a way, this isn't really different from how things are normally for me and my brain. But the fact that there are things that out there that are bad, it's like catastrophizing. It isn't unwarranted right now. You know what I mean? And, things in Italy, I've had to stop reading about that. And if any of you are in Italy or in other parts of Europe where things are really, really bad right now, just know that I'm so sorry and I wish all of you the best, but I can't really read about Italy anymore because it gives me so much anxiety that things will end up exactly the same here. So, anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm safe, things are fine, but it is hard. And I'm an introvert, so it's not really the self-isolation thing that's hard because I do live with my husband, so I'm not like alone. But it isn't really anything to do with quarantine. It's really just my mental state of worrying about things and actually having cause to worry about things. Anxiety makes you worry about things that you shouldn't be worrying about, but there are things to actually worry about now, and that's really scary. And there are people I know, acquaintances I have, that are not taking this quarantine thing seriously, and that's really scaring me. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Sorry this got a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I just kind of wanted to have this here. Since I've had more free time, I have started watching Sex and the City, which I've been meaning to watch for a couple years now, and it is just as good as I thought it would be. I have been playing a video game called The Forest with my husband. We're very obsessed with it. We've been watching some movies, things like that, and for some reason I just find that those are keeping my brain more occupied than reading. So I haven't been physically reading much. I have been listening to some audiobooks though. So the only physical book that I'm currently reading is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. To be honest, I haven't picked this up in about a week, but, I'm sure I'll read some more of it this week. I'm on page 76, and I really like it so far. I think thrillers are probably my best bet when I'm not super in a reading mood, but I do want to read, so I'm not really in a slump. I've been finding other things that, keep my brain super occupied, but I do want to read more of this. This is about a bachelorette party in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and some shit goes down. I don't know what shit yet, but everyone's kind of at the cabin, and someone's being a little weird, and our main character is, really annoyed with some other girls at this bachelorette party, so it's pretty good so far. So the audiobooks that I'm listening to currently, I'm listening to 2. I have one that's my audiobook that I only listen to on my 45-minute walks every day, and that is the 3rd book in the Diviners series by Libba Bray. The title is escaping me right now, but I am 20% done, I think, with it, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it as much as the 2nd book. I still like the 1st one better just because there's so many plot lines, and your girl gets confused, and I always end up disliking one of the plot lines, and then the chapter where it's that plot line, I'm just okay. I love all of the characters so much, so that's what I'm listening to on my walk. And the book that I'm kind of listening to while playing Animal Crossing or in the shower or, organizing stuff, whatever, is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which I have been meaning to read for so long. I am only 10% of the way through, so I don't really want to say anything about it yet. I don't really have many feelings, but I think we all know what that book is about. And it's definitely already been, some hard-hitting topics, and I'm not even that far into it. So I'm really, really liking that. And that's kind of where I'm at. That's what we're doing this week. So my husband just left for work. I don't know, I'm struggling to find activities that I'm interested in. I picked up guitar for a little bit earlier this week. I will insert a little clip here. No one can hurt you now. Come on in, light. You and I'll be safe and sound. Ooh. I have just been trying to find the will to film like my Wednesday videos, which I know have been a little MIA, but the general gist of my channel is like reading vlogs are posted on the weekends, and usually on Wednesdays there'll be like a main channel video that's like, you know, a sit down, like well thought out, planned video. And I've just been having a lot of trouble finding motivation to make those types of videos. Like, I have them all planned out, but it's just filming it. So here we are. Once again, not filming. However, for the next hour, I will be reading In a Dark Wood. I cannot talk today. By Ruth Ware. I went for a walk and now I'm just like dead. It took about 150 pages for anything remotely like thrillery to happen, which is kind of annoying. However, the premise and the characters are keeping me going. It's definitely sitting at like a 3-star. Definitely not as good as The Woman in Cabin 10, but I'm still liking it. The dynamic between all of these women at this hen party is very interesting. So I really like that aspect as well. Update. So it's like 2 hours later. Haven't picked up that book yet because my friend Audrey, we're obsessed with Mamma Mia, and she made a TikTok that she wanted me to duet from a scene of Mamma Mia. So it like got me up, got me filming, and I actually got motivated to film. So I just finished filming 3 videos. I really had so much fun with it. I'm so glad that I did that. And the last video I just filmed is not actually book related at all, but I'm still hoping you guys enjoy it. I had so much fun with it. And yeah, I gave you spilled a little bit of tea about high school me. So anyway, that's the story. I'm in such a better mood now after filming. I do need to read, so I am going to take my lipstick off, get back into cozy clothes. Well, I still have my sweats on, but I'm gonna get back into like a sweatshirt, and then I'm going to read some more. But I just wanted to share that with you. Sometimes you have to like force yourself to do something, and then you end up actually being glad you did it. And I'm honestly like, I'm so happy. I'm in such a good mood right now. So shout out to BookTube, and also shout out to my friend Audrey for making me get out of my little wallow of sadness. Alright, I just read 50 more pages of In a Dark Wood. I have exactly 50 pages left. I'll talk a little bit more about like my thoughts in general, obviously, once I finish it, but I did want to say, I do think this would make, sorry, I can't find a good angle. I do think this would make a really, really good movie. Kind of cut out some slow parts, like condensing it down into movie form, I think would be really good. So I'm getting sleepy, which always happens to me when I read. It's really annoying. But I think I'm going to try and push through and start Four Dead Queens and read this for like 40-ish minutes. Alright, it's update time. It's almost 9 o'clock, so I need to go make dinner. I have had a good like chunk of reading time, which is really nice. I haven't really been in the mood to physically read until today, so it's all good in this hood. Yeah, so I'm on page 255 of In a Dark Wood. I have 50 pages left, but I'm too tired and it's getting too late for me to finish this book today, so I will be finishing it tomorrow. I only have like an hour left. I want to say before I forget, because I know I was just going to wait until I finish it to talk about it, but I do want to say that our main character, there was like this hint that she had this like dark secret with this other character, and it was hinted at and hinted at and hinted at, and finally on like page 225 it was revealed, and it was very anticlimactic, and it wasn't that I guessed it exactly. I thought it might be an option, but it was just the fact that what it wasn't, I don't know, I don't feel like it was worth all the hype for since the beginning of the book, like, to realize that and have that be the reason. I don't think this is a spoiler for this book by any means, but someone dies in this cabin, and so they're trying to figure out what happened and who did it. And so that's kind of obviously what the last 50 pages is going to be, is who did it. Because there were some weird things that happened at the cabin, and everyone was being kind of weird. So it turned into a little bit of a murder mystery. But the actual moment that it happened and the events following it happening, the murder happening, we aren't at the scene anymore in present time with the character at the cabin. It is now after the fact, after she can't really quite remember what happened and who did what in the hospital because there was a car accident. So it's just frustrating because I would much rather have had it play out in real time. And so to have it, like, now, it's like she's trying to remember what happened when, up until this point, it's been basically, you know, present day. Like, our character is experiencing these things for the first time, not reflecting back on them. So to finally get to the part we've all been waiting for, and have that be her trying to remember what happened instead of us physically being there, is really annoying. And I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like I explained that really shittily, but that's kind of what's bugging me, is it took all of the suspense out of it. So I'm still intrigued to see who it actually was, because if it is this one person I'm thinking it might be, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna probably rate it like half a star higher than I would if it wasn't this person, so I'm excited to see what that's about. And as for Four Dead Queens, I read almost 100 pages, so I'm like 25% done, and I am really liking it. I don't know what I expected, because I didn't super know the plot. Just based on the title, one can assume that there's going to be 4 dead queens. And I don't know for sure at this point in time, at this juncture, I am not sure if there are actually going to be 4 dead queens or not. Just because might not be 4 doesn't mean there aren't any dead queens. And I was shook for some reason. And then I remembered the title. And I was like, oh, I probably should have seen this coming. But it was still really good. Yeah, chapter 2 hits hard. Our main character is Carolee. That's how I'm deciding to pronounce her name as. And she's kind of like a professional pickpocket, where she works for this guy who has her go steal things from people. And she pickpockets this item that it's an item from a person from a different district, I guess. I always got Hunger Games on the brain, but, you know, there's 4 queens for 4 different districts in this country, and so I think they're supposed to be called quadrants, not districts. She steals this, like, weird device thing from someone from a district that isn't hers, because he usually has her steal things, and then he sells them at, like, a illegal auction, but he doesn't sell it, and she's like, whoa, why isn't he selling this thing that I just stole for him? And then the person she stole it from goes to the auction to try and get it back. And it turns into this whole, you know, the plot kind of goes from there as to, you know, what memories are on this weird device and who's affected by that information and this whole that kind of thing. So we have that story, and then we have the story that takes place in the palace with the queens. So it kind of jumps back and forth between that. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot, because obviously I don't want to spoil anything, but it's really good. The pacing's really good. There's just so many like female characters, and we love that here. I did not know that there was LGBT rep in this book. That is so great. Love that. Oh, also, I finished The Hate You Give last night. I listened to the audiobook. I listened to a lot of it while I played Animal Crossing, and I really liked it. I give it 4 stars. I didn't give it 5 just because I'm really stingy with my 5-star reads, but it was really good, and I'm glad that it's being taught in a lot of high schools now. I think what it talks about is really, really important, and I'm really glad that I read it. It helped me get a little bit of a deeper understanding of that whole issue, just coming at it as a white person with white privilege. I only can understand it to an extent because I don't experience that. And so that was just a really interesting insight and way to gain more insight into that kind of thing with the police and everything. So enjoyed that for sure. Alright, it's the next day. It's morning time. Today is the day that I finish In a Dark, Dark Wood. Hey guys, so another day of me looking like a mess. It is Monday, and I meant to end this vlog yesterday, so I am going to do that now. I did finish In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I gave it 3 stars. The person who did it wasn't who I thought it was gonna be. And then who it was somewhat interesting, but I think the root cause and the reason why all this went down in the first place was just really not interesting and almost juvenile. The characters were all being so juvenile. I would recommend it. I feel like I've just been shit talking it. I would recommend it if you just want an easy thriller. I still really like Ruth Ware's writing, and I like the dynamic between the characters. I think it's just when you focus on, once you've read it and you look back and you know why things happened, then that's where it gets kind of frustrating. But as I was reading it, obviously, I wasn't frustrated yet. And I also just really love the vibes of this book. Just being set in a cabin at nighttime, I love that shit. So I definitely enjoyed it just purely because of where it took place as well. I'm also not a super critical reader of thrillers because I'm just here for a good time. So yeah, I gave this a 3. It was a good time, but it could have been a better time. So with that being said, I am halfway through 4 Dead Queens, and I am 75% of the way done with the 3rd book in the Diviners series. So I will be finishing those in next week's vlog. In 2 days, it will be April 1st, which is the first day of the Owls Readathon. I am very excited. By the time you see this, my TBR will be up, so be sure to check that out if you're interested to see what I will be reading and vlogging in April. And I hope you guys are doing well. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye!